Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video, I will talk about the chapter 5 from the book Financial and Managerial Accounting by Vagant. So, this chapter is about accounting for the merchandising operations. So, first of all, we will define what the merchandising operation is. Merchandising companies buy and sell merchandises rather than performing the services as their primary source of revenue. So, merchandising companies can either be retailers or it can be wholesalers. Retailers are those who sells directly to the consumers, whereas wholesalers sells to the retailers. So first of all, we have to understand what is the primary source of revenue in merchandising companies. So this is the sales of or the selling of the goods or selling of the inventories. So in this case, we have two types of cost or expenses in case of merchandising businesses. One type of expenses that are directly relating to the cost of goods sold, whereas the other type of expenses relating to operating the business that are called as the operating expenses. So here you can see that how the net income is determined in case of merchandising businesses. So initially from the sales revenue, first of all, we have to deduct the value of the cost of goods sold. Direct cost that is relating to the selling goods. That will give us gross profit, and when we will deduct the operating expenses, then we can determine the net income. So this is the multi-step income statement. First step is determination of the gross profit and then the net income. So here in case of merchandising businesses, the operating cycle becomes a bit longer than the service company businesses. Because here we have an additional steps have been included in the operating cycle, that is the selling of the inventory and then the account receivable generation. Whereas in case of services companies, when we perform the services, account receivable generated and then they are directly converted into cash. Whereas in accounting for the merchandising company raises another additional steps, that is selling of the inventory and then account receivables are generated and then the receiving of the cash. So in case of merchandising businesses, the accounting cycle or the operating cycle is a bit longer than service company. In case of merchandising businesses, the recording process involves two type of systems. Accounting recording process involves two types of systems. One is the perpetual system and the other one is the periodic system. So when we sell the goods, the selling process of inventories or selling of goods involves two types of accounting process, in perpetual system and in periodic system. So we have to understand what the perpetual system is and what is the periodic system. So in perpetual system, companies keep detailed record of the cost of each and every inventory purchase and sale. And this process continuously continued. So under perpetual inventory system, company determines the cost of goods sold each time when the sales occur. So at the time of sales, we have to record two types of entries. One is to record the sales revenue and the other is to record the cost of goods sold, so that we can determine the profit with the every sales. Whereas in case of periodic inventory system, the profit is determined at the end of the period. So we don't need to determine the net profit with every sales transaction. We will just record the sales revenue, and the cost of goods sold is determined at the end of the accounting period. And then we determine the net profit. So here is the process how we can determine the cost of goods sold. So initially beginning inventory, to form the cost of goods sold statement, we must have some beginning balance in the inventory account. In that account, we will add up the goods purchased. This will give us the cost of goods available for sale. We then less the ending inventory value, and we are left with the cost of goods sold. So this is the comparison between the two system, perpetual system and the periodic system. So in case of the perpetual system, at every item sold, we have to record the cost of goods sold, and at the end of the period, we don't need to make any entry for the cost of goods sold. Whereas in case of periodic system, at the time of selling, we just only record the revenue, not the cost of goods sold. So at the end of the period, we will have to record the cost of goods sold separately. So this is the difference between the two systems. So for the recording process, there are some extra terminologies we must know in case of merchandising businesses. FOB shipping point and FOB destination. FOB shipping point means that who will pay the transportation charges. If the terminology is used as FOB shipping point, it means that the buyer will pay the freight charges or the freight cost. Whereas if it is stated as FOB destination, it means that the seller will pay the cost. So at the time of recording the transaction, we will have to look at that we are given the terminology as FOB shipping point or FOB destination. So you have to memorize it, that who is the appropriate party to pay for the freight charges. Another terminology that we must know about the regarding of the sales process of the goods. Some credit terms are given at the time of sales by the seller to their customers, just to expedite the receiving of cash or converting account receivable into cash. One terminology, so these terminologies are given in like this 210, comma, net 30, net 30, 110, net 30, net 60. So what does that mean? 210 net 30 mean that if the customer will pay within 10 days, then he will be given 2% discount on the sales price. Otherwise, he will have to make full payment within 30 days. And net 30 means no discount is allowed, just have to make payment within 30 days, within 60 days. 110 net 30 means 1% will be discount will be given if the payment is made within 10 days. Otherwise, the customer will have to make payment, full payment if he pays within 30 days. So these are some credit terms that we must know before recording the transactions. So yeah, and these terminologies must be memorized by you while solving the problems. Okay, ji, thank you.